Hold on. Ooh, golly, having technical difficulties today. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? It's your boy Doc Holiday. We're back with another HBCU OverDrive live show. If you haven't done it by now, make sure that you like the stream, comment, share, and most of all, subscribe. Hopefully, I have my co-host Brian Johnson on the stream today. So more likely he probably will be on. But if not, I go solo. But this is something I'm gonna try to do every Monday. Um between 7:30 8:30. 8:30 is a good time for me. Um but like I said, if you haven't done it by now, make sure that you like the stream, comment, share, and most of all subscribe. Become part of the hottest up and coming HBCU podcast on YouTube right now. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get everything HBCU Overdrive. Um, if you haven't done it, if you haven't heard anything by now, y'all know basically the what was the elephant in the room. Everybody know when Coach Prime gets on the coach's call, it's must see on YouTube. Um, Thank you to HBCU's Digital Sports for actually giving us that. That way, we can uh, kind of be in the limelight when it comes to hearing what the coaches have to say. That's something that we don't, we didn't get to have um, back in the day, but it shines a positive light. That way we can always, as far as so as fans and as alums alike, we can hear what these coaches have to say. So pull up my banner and pull up my banner today. So yeah, so today is the HBCU football review. So basically, all we do is we basically go back and talk, kind of give a recap of the scores and what we thought about as far as what we saw um, from this past weekend, and also, we did have this weekend. We had Thursday football, which some we haven't had in a while. And then also we had Friday football, something that we really haven't had in a while. So it was a good thing to watch Thursday and Friday football. It was refreshing. It kind of just take you out of, a little bit out of the context of just what you would do on a normal Thursday night and a normal Friday night. But you also, we also had our Saturday football, our Saturday slate of games. Which is basically that was a good thing. So I want to get into the first thing I want to get into. Like I said, I want to get into D2 football. And the reason why I want to get into D2 football because we really don't show Division two HBCUs any kind of love. So that's something that I've been starting on doing. I was doing which is good because it sheds a whole light for programs that either A, you never heard of, or B, um, you would never hear as far as like who is or who's number one in this conference or who's number one in the Division two ranks. So that's pretty much what I'm bringing to this channel and bringing to the table is to give love to those Division two HBCU football teams. Uh, so we're gonna go into um, the top team in the league in HBCU football is um, you got Virginia Union and Benedict. Virginia Union from the CIAA, yeah, they came in. They went into Ettrick, Virginia, defeated Virginia State 33-21. Jada Byers, man, if y'all have not watched that kid play, y'all haven't seen him run. He is a stick of dynamite. Y'all need to watch him play. We talking about a kid that's 5'7", probably about 185 pounds, but he is a firecracker when it comes to running the football. I think he has a little bit over 1,700 yards right now and probably like over 20 touchdowns. Um, the kid is electric. And if you haven't seen Benedict play, Benedict out of Columbia, South Carolina, they uh, play Allen, which is also in Columbia, South Carolina, which is basically those two schools are across the street from each other. Benedict with the big win against Allen University, 54-21. Coach Chennisberry is basically that he's basically running a gym over at Benedict. Like I said, this is a school that these are schools that nobody really talk about. Like I said, you got Benedict is 10-0, so they are going to the playoffs. I think they're going to be one of the top seeds in the playoffs for Division II. So y'all need to watch out for them. And Virginia Union, even though they have that one loss against Chowan, um, they are sitting at 9-1. So they would also be one of the top, uh, top schools in the D2 playoffs also. And like I said, you got Shaw University taking on St. Augustine. They come out with a victory in overtime, 30-27. Chowan with a big win against Elizabeth City State, 54-8. You also have, let me see, Central State and Kentucky, which was a good contest. Central State comes out with the victory, 31-30. That they came out with a squeaker. Um, let's see, you got Bowie State again defeating Lincoln of Pennsylvania, 41-24. And let's just say, I'm gonna just say it like this: Bowie State, with the loss of head coach Damian Wilson, who went over to Morgan State. Bowie State, even though they have some losses early in the season, they are still continuing their winning tradition. So I see Bowie State. Keep an eye on Bowie State as far as being in the playoffs too. You got Livingstone beating Johnson C. Smith 26-20 in overtime. This one right here, which is the Fountain, I think the Fountain City Classic, Fort Valley versus Albany State. Fort Valley and Albany State, they came in. I think there was ranked number 2 and number 3 behind Benedict in the SIAC West. So you're looking at these two teams play solid defense, have a solid quarterback, run the ball real good, like to do play action passes and stuff like that. Fort Valley comes out with the victory against Albany State, against their rival Albany State, 31-21. Also, we have the battle of the AUC. Clark Atlanta versus Morehouse. Morehouse comes away with their first victory of the season with a 20-17 victory over Clark Atlanta. Tuskegee versus Miles. Now, Tuskegee, it was Tuskegee's homecoming. How do I know? My frat brother flew all the way from LA, California, back to Tuskegee, Alabama, just for that. They came out with a 26-23 2 overtime victory, y'all. For homecoming. And for the homecoming, I think the attendance probably was more like 20, probably between 23 to 20, look like 26 to 29,000 people there. And that was just, people that was actually attending the game. We're not even talking about the people that was actually going out there that was tailgating for that game. But that was a good game. It was a great halftime show. Student section for Tuskegee, y'all already know how they do. They was already lit. They was on one, and they basically willed their team to victory, 26-23 in two overtimes. You also have, let's see, let me see. I'm trying to go through. I'm going through. I'm going through. Uh, Lincoln, Missouri, they lost to Emporia State, 35-24. Fayetteville State, with a close win against Winston-Salem, 14-6. You have Savannah State coming out with a close one against Lane College, 44-38. West Virginia State, 42-32. You also have, let me see. Trying to figure out. Let's see. Let's see. I think that would be it right there. That's pretty much it for all of yeah, that would be it for the D2 HBCU football, okay? So hopefully next week, let's see what we got as far as for matchups for this coming weekend in the CIAA and the SIAC. Um this weekend it's Chowan going on the road to Fayetteville State. That's a 1 o'clock kickoff. And I think this one is in Salem, Virginia. Uh, and you can watch that on Aspire TV or the CIAA Sports Network. Um, and let's see, as far as with the SIAC, uh, now in the SIAC, you got Edward Waters playing Allen. That is the I think that is what they call the AME Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. Both schools were founded by the AME Church. This one is a 2 o'clock kickoff in Jacksonville, Florida, and oh my goodness, it is on ESPN Plus. So y'all need to go check them out. Support these schools because they don't really get that much support from us, but go out there and support these schools right here. Um, so that is coming from the SIAC and the CIAA. Y'all already know. They get ready to start basketball season. And oh, guess who's here? My co-host. My co-host is here. What's going on, Brian?
How you doing, Mr. Doc? Man, this time change is messing me up, man. I don't know why we still changing hours back, man. I I heard up in Canada, I think next. Well, some provinces don't change back the time anymore. My sister that lives in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. She said next this is the last year, so I think once it springs forward, I think they're going to keep it because it doesn't make any difference now. It just messes me up. That's all it does, man. I got to change my clock in my car. I got, thank God my phone changed. Matter of fact, I was on talking to one of my old school buddies from years. Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, for years. Actually, he lives down in Alabama.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah. He does. On Facebook, people find you. And I got a request, and he said, "Do you remember that and that?" And I looked his profile up and seen his picture, and I wrote him. I said, "Yeah, I remember you, but you know, I remember you a lot more here."
We
How
got
you
Miss.
doing, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good. We got Vale in the chat telling everybody hello. What's going on, Vale? What's going on, Square? But yeah, hey man, I just finished up the D2 HBCU football review. Uh we got some good there's some good football coming up this weekend for the SIAC and the CIAA. Um and also we got the MEAC and the SWAC coming up this weekend. So before we get into that, I wanted to get into the um I want to get into the coach's call from Coach Prime. And so I want to go ahead and get into that before we kind of do a review on the weekend's this past weekend's games. And what needs to be done for um what needs to be done to kind of improve on certain things. And if y'all just know that little beeping noise, that's the yes, that is the the
And I think later on, Doc,
smoke
we
detector.
might maybe we uh, mention what Coach Prime laid out there today. Being the smart businessman that he is, and being a great conduit for HBCUs and the SWAC, talking about that bowl game.
Yeah, that's that. In fact, that's where I kind of would want to go and kind of
We can pivot
touch
that way
on.
because
So
I heard that and I said, man, he's just a brilliant person. Like, you know what I mean? He's he is definitely. I'm gonna call him a juicer for the simple reason he turns lemonade into lemons all the time.
mhm. So I'm gonna
Prime
pause it.
juicer.
And this is so I got this from Blue. So
Oh, this was fair copy, fair use.
yeah, this I'm doing fair use, Blue. So don't copyright, don't hit me up. So I'm gonna go ahead and screenshot. Well, I don't need to really screenshot it. I could just play the audio.
Yeah, can you turn it up a little?
Yeah.
That's good.
Can y'all hear it?
Yeah. Good evening, Terry.
This is Kenyatta, Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Prime, how's it going?
Awesome, my man.
Apologize that I didn't get a chance to talk with you after the game in the postseason. I had my son, 8 years old, and he was ready to get
Oh, y'all check out Dr.
excited
Cavill
about being at this
in his show.
and all the fanfare so that you talked about. Both teams playing really well, capacity, and he's an Astro fan. He thinks he can play a little baseball too as well.
Trust me, we need more African American kids with a bat in their hand. A baseball bat is that.
I'll make sure he knows that in terms of that. But continue to talk about your play, your running back, Wilkerson, in terms of what he was able to do. Very strong in that matchup, and the offensive line being able to get some good.
Well, you got to understand.
So I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward to when he was talking about
The stadium, not the stadium, the bowl games.
After Mr. Glass, but it's all about JS.
If anybody didn't have an opportunity to catch that, they can always catch that on YouTube. It was a good thing. But what's the name? Coach didn't even show up. The interim coach for was it Prairie View?
I didn't even check it out.
Yeah, there was one coach that didn't show up, and it's a wonder why they're not even doing. They don't. What's the coach that just got that the interim coach? Was it Pine Valley? Pine Valley, wasn't it?
Pine Bluff.
Pine Bluff, yes, yeah, Pine Bluff. So the coaches, how you not going to show up to the interview or the weekly coach conference? I know there's But put somebody else in your place. Like when Coach Prime couldn't do it last year, we had Coach Fleet. Put somebody in your place representing your university.
End up where we want to end up, and that's and O. We plan on being and O. I don't know how many wins and O. Matter of fact, let me throw this out at you guys. I always try to give you something to run with. You're getting ready for bowl season. Do your homework. If any of my guys are on here, help me out with this. I forgot how many number of teams there are in bowl games. I know that's a bunch of them. Somebody to give me the number. It's a crazy, exuberant amount of teams that have the opportunity to play in a bowl. Why can't that be us? I'm just saying, why can't that be us? You got teams that are virtually 6-5 going to a bowl game. Ain't nobody going to see them play. Ain't nobody turning the channel to witness the foolishness. But you have us that travels deep, travels heavy. Not only that you have us as a people that when one of our schools gets selected by one of these wonderful Fortune 500 companies that are the title sponsor to a bowl game, we will support collectively. Now, it's not then, if you select us to go into this particular bowl game, it's not us against FAM or us against Bethune or us against, it's us together against everybody. That's how we look at it as a people. So I'm just sitting up here trying to find out to one of these wonderful sponsors, wouldn't we be a better option than a 6-5 team in any bowl game? Because we travel deep. The numbers that we project wherever we're on television. So why would you not come to us desiring to have us in a bowl game? Now, this is after the Celebration Bowl. Let's get that straight. We're going to, that's a goal. Celebration. This is after that. This is a pre New Year's Day bowl game that we would love to have an opportunity to play in. Along with FAMU and some of the other wonderful teams that are doing some wonderful things. Why? Is there a rule? Or that's just a choice? Because all these companies that are endorsing or the title sponsor of these bowl games, if you do the dynamics on what we bring to the table, what we project television-wise, what the capacity that we could attract, I think we check the box in all levels. So why can't that be us? So now what we need to do, I need you guys to help me with all the pre-New Year's Eve Day bowl games, and let's just look at all of them. And just go down the line. And then I'm going to start calling. Like I don't think Pepsi has a bowl game. Well, just say, for instance, one of my sponsors. A Pepsi has a bowl game where wouldn't you want it to be us? Because of what we bring to the table, especially if it's pre-New Year's Day. And then there's also a purse that comes with that game that we would love to have that can help us as a program tremendously. But not only that, give our kids some exposure and expose them to other things in life where they get to go somewhere for 3 or 4 days in another city and just have a wonderful time, as well as prepare to dominate that game. I'm just throwing that out there, ladies and gentlemen. And I need your legs and your pins and your fingers to get to it. You know how we are when we work together. When we work together, we do anything. Just a question that we're going to throw out there. Coach Sanders, as always, we appreciate your time.
I'm gonna say this, man. I'm gonna say this. Ain't that some genius right there as far as the marketing goes? Like, okay, now I'm gonna tell everybody before everybody get their panties in a bunch. The SWAC and the MEAC are contractually obligated to play in the Celebration Bowl. if you win the SWAC, if you win the MEAC, you are contractually obligated to play in a Celebration Bowl. Now, what he is saying is he wants to play something after that. It's basically what you have as far as with the how the Power
SEC
Five,
championships.
huh?
The SEC championships. You're right.
Right. The Power Five, how the Power Five got it to where they have the New Year's Six, you know, the New Year's Six bowl games. So what he is saying, like, hey, you got, and it's not even saying like to be in like the Sugar Bowl or anything like that. He's not even looking at that. He's more like saying, like, okay, you got this team in the Independence Bowl in Shreveport, or we can go to um
One in
some,
Arizona, right?
you got a bowl in Arizona, or you can go to a bowl here in, in here. Basically, you got a couple of bowls in Texas before you had the Cotton Bowl. That's what he's saying. But also, if you haven't, if you're not listening to it, like, you had to listen. Even though, yes, he's saying, yeah, I want to have my team play in something like these bowls like that after we finish the Celebration Bowl. My whole thing is he's going out and saying, hey, telling the SWAC and the MEAC and the people who run the Celebration Bowl, you might want to up your money.
yeah, yeah. He's throwing that out subliminally.
He threw it out subliminally. Nobody, I don't think not too many people listen, like really, really, like really listen to what he had to say. I think everybody heard extra bowl game and be like, oh yeah, we need to go to no. Like lesser known bowls where they taking teams that at 6-5, 6-7, 6-6, 75. Like, what he's saying is nobody's not gonna watch that.
And they
Nobody's
don't.
not gonna go to it.
And they don't.
And they don't. Like, you literally have 40, like 40 some bowls, and one of them is a Celebration Bowl that only happens, that involves the HBCUs from the FCS. Only ones that we are the only ones that are contractually obligated to play in that bowl game, and we still get compensated. And we don't have to break off nothing to the conference, because why? It's our money.
And
I want people to understand. It's not, it's not to, it's not to say, yeah, we can go play in the New Year's Six Bowl. No, we're not even gonna think about that. Let's not think about that. Because what he's saying is, man, if we get into another conference, like like Conference USA or Sunbelt, like you win, like say you win the Sunbelt, you contractually obligated to play in the New Orleans Bowl, which is played at the Superdome. Would you want that? And still get broke out some money? Let me see what Vail got. Let me see Vail. Yeah, he was fun. Yeah, he was, because dude couldn't get his questions off from off the rip. Like, I don't know what he was thinking of. Like, he basically, like, he literally was stuttering. I down there had to. I was listening to it, and I would have to go on my conference call for my job.
the guy that asked the coach the question, and
Yeah, coach was like, "What's going on?"
yeah, what are you trying to say there?
Mm-hmm. And then I didn't even know. So I didn't even know that the intro head coach for Pine Bluff didn't even show up on the.
Yeah, that's what I was telling. That's what I was saying, man. Yeah,
He didn't show up on the feed. Like,
but he should have assistant coach somebody else if he couldn't make it. You see, this is this is sometimes when you're trying to advance things and Coach Prime and you got Coach Simmons and Coach Jackson and a few other coaches are trying to uh, uplift the conference, and you got a guy here. And I'm not taking away. I don't know what happened. I'm not going to speculate what happened, but somebody should have been in place to
Yeah,
get on the call to represent your university.
yeah. Yeah, it's a bad look because you never know. The school might be looking at you, or the ADs might be looking at you and say, "Hey, we want you to be our guy."
It makes it look bush league.
Yep, it does. It does. And then I'm gonna get into what Coach Maynard said. Coach Maynard,
Uh,
he's
well,
a comedian.
I just want to go. I'm just looking at a lot of these bowl games, but I just want to talk about that for a quick second here with
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
with the bowl games. So you look at it, you see the thing is that I always learned when I was in sales for years, and you know what I mean. I'm in retail for years and have my own business. So a lot of books that I read is you like a farmer, you plant seeds, and
Yep.
whatever seeds you throw out there, you come back and you come back and look at the ones that already start harvesting. The ones that don't harvest, you don't bother with them. So that's basically what coach's mentality is, because he's throwing out this seed, and like you was perfectly right, subliminally to Celebration Bowl. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
We might be getting other offers other places. And also, he's talking to sponsors. He's talking to sponsors. Hey, listen. And I watch some of the bowl games. You know what I mean? You sit home and you watch this bowl or that bowl, and it looks like exhibition. There's hardly nobody in the stands. There's no enthusiasm. So he knows right now, especially the with what's going on in SWAC football and HBCUs, and also with the pageantry, uh, everything else that goes along with it, they're gonna draw people, and people are gonna be curious to see what kind of game it is first and foremost, and they're gonna
Yeah.
see everything else surrounding the game. So that's a that's great for sponsors when you have a full stadium and the viewerships that they're getting on different broadcasts. They see the numbers. Coach sees the numbers. So this is why you could present a case, because when you see numbers, you know what? The bottom line is always numbers. And
Right.
so then when and what he said, I'll make some calls. And he has the connections, and he has the associations that's out there, right? So this is I think it's a great thing. You play the celebration, you win that, and then there's a bowl game, and 2 or 3 weeks later, hey man, and you're getting money, and they pay for your travel. Guys have 2 or 3 days to be in a certain city. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Plus, you prepare for a game. That's a win-win situation. Now, once you put it out there in atmosphere, you speak it and shall happen.
Now go ahead.
No, I'm good now. I'm finished with that one.
Okay. So we're gonna jump into, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the reviews. So, like I said, we're gonna start in the MEAC. Um, North Carolina A&T is on. North Carolina A&T is on a tear. They are on the run to win the Big South. I don't think nobody else is going to win it. Campbell is actually on the 3-game losing streak right now. So the Big South is A&T's to lose. I don't think they lose the Big South. What a perfect way to actually go, you know, end the season, win the conference, get in the playoffs. Then you go into the Colonial Athletic Association, and you have that momentum with you, and also having, an actual freshman QB. Um, you have a solid core. You have a solid core team that's going to go into the CAA after being, um, I wouldn't say dominant, but being competitive in the Big South. That what I would say.
Oh,
One of the hey, if it is, it is, man, Vel. If it is, it is. But we can't even call it like that. But like I said, the Big South is North Carolina A&T is to lose. And I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody taking it other than A&T. So they'll be able to represent the conference. Um, they'll be they pretty much would be probably like one out of two only HBCUs in the playoffs. At long as A&T defeats Gardner Webb at the end of the season, what's going on, Alan? Long as A&T defeats Gardner Webb at the end of the season, I don't see. Like I said, I see them winning out. Probably, I don't know about hosting the game, but they won't have to travel too far, and they might come out with a victory. We don't know. We don't know yet. We don't know how the brackets come about. Out as blue. Probably later on this week about the brackets for the FCS playoffs.
I think he had the diagram of the brackets there a couple. Was it last week on his show?
On the show,
But
yeah.
it's a funny thing though, right? How a team like Campbell, beat North Carolina Central, and
Mm-hmm.
then they played Jackson State, and they played well. And you think that sometimes that would propel a team, but it seemed like they digress. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
haven't played as
Campbell.
well. And did
Actually,
they
Campbell.
lose all their steam?
Well, Haj Malik Williams got hurt too, so
Oh,
uh,
okay. That
so
hurts.
yeah, that kind of let the steam out. He got hurt in the this last game against Bryant. Um, so eventually, I don't know if they're mathematically eliminated from winning the conference, but with A&T, probably I think A&T probably only has like 2 games left on the season. Yeah, they have 2 games left, so they have Charleston Southern, which is at 2 and they're at 2-7, and then they have Gardner Webb, who is 4-5. That's for next week. I mean, that's the week after. So, like I said, if A&T and Gardner Webb finish out still at the top of the Big South, the A&T Gardner Webb game is the de facto championship game for the conference. What up, Sonic Boom? Okay, Alan said he's gonna go see Coastal Carolina and Southern Miss on Saturday, but he said he's going to Mobile. Oh, he said we'll
Try to
be
get
there.
try to get some tell them to try to get some of that money back so we can build a stadium.
And it's crazy. Sonic Boom, you kind of went there because Tennessee State got railroaded. they got
Yeah.
railroaded this weekend against Southeast Missouri. 42-0. They did not score nothing. That's it for Tennessee State. I don't think they could come back. They won't be able to come back after they got 2 games. I think they got 2 games left in they also have 2 games left in the OVC. I don't see them. I don't see Tennessee State trying to mount any type of comeback. My whole thing about them is basically they got 2 games left. In the one game, I'll probably go see them on the 19th here in East Texas. Yeah, J Blue Brute, hey, they wore them out. They wore them out. I think from the start of kickoff all the way up until the end, they wore them out. And I don't see Tennessee State actually, like I said, that they're not going to be able to get it to the playoffs, but they can end the season with some sort of momentum. With the last 2 games, they can win the last 2 games. They can win the season and kind of salvage the season and try to go into the off season to kind of go into basically with the recruiting. Who are they going to get? You need an actual running back. Draylon Ellis is going to be, I think he's a junior for next year. You need some tackles. You need some good offensive tackles, especially the left side, to protect his blind side. You also need cornerbacks and you need defensive linemen. So I feel like Tennessee State is going to go out there. They're going to hit that recruiting trail real hard, and I don't think Eddie George is not satisfied with how the team has played in the last 2 weeks, especially losing to a Murray State team that was at the time 0-7. So that kind of killed the vibe, killed the momentum for them. And then, like I said, getting a big goose egg from Southeast Missouri State, you cannot have that on your resume.
See, that's what happens when I don't like the word trap game. I always told you that, but that was like a trap game before because them not being a team they played was it Murray? Who they played Murray, right?
They played Murray State 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and they see that's when it's so indicative for coaches to hone in and you know what I mean and shout the message. The players got to accept the message and say, we don't play records, we play teams. And this is what happens when you know what I mean? You look at the papers or you look online and you're looking on your phone and you're seeing records and you're seeing, you know what I mean? You're here to chatter how probably much you could beat them and you look forward to the game after instead of playing the game that's in front of you. This is what happens a lot of time in sports. So you just got to focus on the game at hand. You know what I mean? Like you say, every week you play, you want to be 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, and let the ones compile it, and that way, you have a great season. But it happens. It happened to Alabama, and Coach Maynard was saying today. He told his players, "This is going to be the best 0-8 team that you're going to play." And you know what? A lot of players probably say, "Yeah, whatever they lose." What did they go in there and they lose? You got to be diligent. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what the record is. Any given Saturday, you got to be prepared and you got to play up to your potential, eliminate mistakes, and go in and win.
So also, Jay Blue, what's going on, man? Yeah, when they did lose to Lane College, yeah, that kind of, I don't want to say it was the end of their season, but it kind of started somewhat of a tailspin for the season because it's like a roller. That season was been like a roller coaster. And especially with them scheduling strong FCS teams, and then playing in the Ohio Valley Conference, the OVC. Even though I know it's kind of watered down, but playing in that conference is supposed to prepare you to be able to play anybody. So if you haven't done it by now, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you like the stream and comment and share, and let's have fun and wipe your feet like the stream. So we're gonna go into, we got Morgan and Stony Brook. Like I said, Morgan, I felt like Morgan could have took this game. For a team that was 1-7, they should not even been in the same stratosphere with you. Especially with the defense that you have. Basically, I don't see what with the defense. You couldn't hold them. You couldn't hold them in the third quarter, and you couldn't move the ball in the third quarter also. So then you had to play catch up. And you having the ball in your hand at the last at the last minute, which should have you should have basically kind of, when I'm looking at, you scored your last touchdown to make it 22-21 because you went for a 2-point conversion and you got that. But you still have too much time on the clock. at a minute 37 seconds left on the clock. What you should have done is basically kind of move the ball. You didn't have to rush. You kind of move the ball. You should be able to move the ball. You could have been able to move the ball. And once you have it to like around about 45, 35 seconds left in the game, you score. That's it. It's kind of like and you'll laugh at this, Brian. It's kind of like my Cowboys when they play the damn Packers. You can't. And I always say this: you cannot leave no time on the clock for that bad man named Aaron Rodgers. Because why?
Look what happened yesterday, Tom Brady.
He gonna carve you up. Tom Brady the same way. Don't leave no time for dudes like that. Either they gonna carve you up, they gonna drive you down the field to score the touchdown, or they gonna set themselves up to get the field goal and win the game. That's what happened with Morgan State. And what's that?
No, go. What I would just jump in there for a second. I'm just looking at Morgan State was up 10-7 after the half. And sometimes when you go into a half, and you know what, especially where they won a big game the previous week, so what happens a lot of times is, they won such a big game and they relax instead of keeping, you know what I mean, keeping the pedal to the metal. And then after they drew up a donut in the third quarter, and then all of a sudden, like you said, they try to play catch up, and was a little bit too late. Catch up's always slow. So the thing is, you got to stay focused, and that's what happens a lot of times when you have a lead and you have the momentum, and you got to go into that locker room, and then after you got to rev up again. So it's always sometimes it's hard for teams. Sometimes teams, you see in basketball, Golden State plays really well in the third quarter. JSU plays really well. They should have had slow starts and they come out in the third quarter. But this time against Texas Southern, they had a slow third quarter. Then they came on. But yeah, you have to be. That's where coaches always use that word consistency. You just got to come out and be consistent. And when you're consistent, you get results.
What up, Sean? But that's when it comes down to it, you gotta have that will to say, man, this is my game. I'm gonna take this game, and we're gonna win this game. The hell with everybody else.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna go into everybody's favorite South Carolina team, South Carolina State versus Delaware State. Hey, how about this? Delaware State comes by with a squeaker. Even though they were up at halftime 17-7. Then you flip that around in the third quarter. They tied the game. SC State ties the game up at 24-all. Had to go into overtime for Delaware State to pull out the win. Now, first of all, Delaware State, you had the lead. You should not have. What up? You should not have even thought about having South Carolina State try to come back. Because you had, and after the third quarter, you had a 24-14 point, you had a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter. There is no way that SC State scores 10 points in the fourth quarter to even tie the football game up. When you know you got at least a lead between two scores, is not to play to say I'm going to get beat. It's to play to say I'm going to dominate you, and I'm going to make sure that you have no will to even try to come back from this ass we were about to give you. So, and that is true, Sonny Boone. They can't maintain leads. It only one that really has maintained a lead from start to finish in the MEAC is North Carolina Central. And the only two losses that they took in since then I mean, the only two losses that they had, Campbell jumped on them from start to finish, and SC State, South Carolina State, basically scored 20 straight points in the second quarter of that game, which made it 20-14 at halftime. And you have to be able to hold leads, especially also when you had for Central in that game, in that same game, when you went up at the end of the third quarter, you was up by 4 with a 24-20 lead. That's when you're supposed to kick it into overdrive and try to stomp their head in. That's what you got to do. And then you let South Carolina State score with 12 minutes left in the game. You couldn't move the ball like you wanted to, and you couldn't get the tempo like you wanted to, because you more of a ball control offense. It's not quick, it's not quick strike like that. You're a ball control offense. So SC State, I don't think that with the Bulldogs that their season pretty much almost done, because I said like this: if they lose this weekend against Howard, that's it.
I think that's it for them as it is, anyways.
That's it.
But you see, teams, and they're playing at Howard, so you know what I mean.
They're playing at Howard.
Howard, as South Carolina State hasn't won on the road, so it's going to be a tough match up there in Howard. But the thing is, with South Carolina State, you take away Shaq Davis, everybody knows we're going to take away Shaq, and then after try to beat us.
And I'm gonna put it just like this: if I'm Buddy Pugh, start looking ahead on the recruiting trail. Even though I know you recruit South Carolina, you probably have to go to North Carolina to recruit. You have to go to Georgia to recruit. You probably gonna have to go to Florida to recruit. You need to get you a quarterback. Keyword: quarterback.
Yeah. But that thing with HBCU, they have to level up their the talent pool as far as quarterbacks. You know what I mean? They really want to make strides the way that it is, that should be, and putting it on to the next level, because we can't be known just for running. You know what I mean? Dual quarterbacks, more run than pass. You got Shador, Andrew Body. I think is going to be really good again. He's good now, but I think he's going to be really good next year. Musa, is he a grad? Is he done? Musa
is a grad transfer, so he's done after this season.
He's done. And you have the quarterback in Grambling State, so he's pretty good. You know what I mean? I think he'll develop, but that's what, like you were saying, quarterback play is a big thing. It's like in any league. You have a good quarterback, you have chances to win. You don't, your chances diminish greatly.
So yeah, that's my whole thing when it comes down to it. Excuse me. You have to have good quarterback play. SC State don't have it with Corey Fields. My dude passes for under 50%. You can't do that. And then you got to get you some offensive linemen. That way you can get your running games going. You got to get your running game going. You got to get it, because you shouldn't be dead last in your conference in running in rushing.
And South Carolina got a lot of pro prospects too. And for a team that has a lot of pro prospects, it just seemed like this year they weren't able to put it together. But we know why. Quarterback.
It's quarterback. And last on the list is North Carolina Central versus Howard from last week. Central basically start this game off fast. They jumped on Howard from the beginning. They was up 22-7 at halftime, then scored another 21 in the third quarter and just coasted. They basically jumped up on Howard, and Howard couldn't withstand that onslaught by Davis Richard. Davis Richard is basically a one-man wrecking crew on the offense. So you what does Howard do for the game this weekend against South Carolina State? They might have to change up the QB again. I don't know. If you're gonna live and die by Quentin Williams, Howard, you better tell him he needs to start doing intermediate and check intermediate passes and check downs to his running backs instead of try to play bombs over Baghdad and getting picked off.
Yeah, you can't go 50% and throw 2 INTs and expect to win.
But then too, they couldn't run the ball either. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't get that running game going. Even though Edie James had 114 yards last week, and this past weekend he only had 6 yards.
Nice.
So,
but what happens too, if you just look at it, after the first quarter, they're 22-7. So what happens a lot of times, the offensive coordinators, they panic and they don't stick to the game plan. Instead of, I can understand in the third quarter, you're down, you might want to speed it up and rush, but you're down 22-7, you're only down 2 scores. So the thing is, stick to your game plan, run the ball. This way takes time off the clock. And, you make screen plays, intermediate plays, keep the chains moving, But if you're going to go strictly to a pass where the quarterback's only doing 50%, I don't know what his percentages for the year. I didn't look that up, but it's not a good solution.
Quentin Williams?
Yeah, for the year.
For a year, I can look at it.
It's not a good solution to succeed.
He's completing 65% of his passes this season.
Yeah, but that's 65. You know what I mean? In HBCUs, you should be almost 70%, right?
Yeah, but that when you're doing 70%, that's basically saying like your offense is predicated to like out, short hitches, outs, some slants coming through. To me, like I said, he's the type of dude.
What's this? Oh, let me see. What's the stats for the year here?
For the year,
yeah.
He is 148 to 228, 1,563 yards, 12 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He has a high turnover rate, but he's also been sacked 16 times.
That's no offensive line. No, block is terrible. Protection is terrible. I should say.
I don't think it's saying it's the offensive line because
is he a quarterback the whole?
Because last weekend they played. I know they won the game last weekend. With Tolbert, with Jalen Tolbert, and I think he's more mobile. Also, Quentin Williams holds on to the ball too long. He has that kind of like what Shedeur has a lot. Shedeur holds on to the ball because he's trying to see he's trying to extend the play down the field. He's trying to see if his, get to where his receivers are open. Quentin Williams holds on to the ball because if he does not see the first read, the first progression, he doesn't go into his second or third progressions. Then now he's basically running for his life 6 or 7 yards in the backfield. So he has to be able to, and he's a senior, and that's something that he's not even going to be able to kind of correct now because it's his last, it'll be his last year of playing.
He has immeasurables like to be at 6'5", so he can see over the line and stuff like that. But when you have 12 touchdowns, 8 picks, that's not good. He finds people, but sometimes it's his team and sometimes it's the other.
Right. But in there too, like I said, he also holds on to the ball a lot. So we can move on from from the MEAC to the SWAC. You know, like I said, Valley getting his first win this past weekend against
Congratulations, Val.
Alabama A&M. Congratulations, Coach Dancy. Uh, even though I do not like him being the quarterback, Jelani Easton did come out with the victory. He did throw the ball effectively. Um, he also used his legs to
Yeah,
actually set up the pass effectively. So hey, I can't knock the guy. I can't knock the guy. Um, but with Alabama and we talked about this we had talked about this on Thursday. The thing about A&M is that you're playing a two quarterback system, um, which you should have known who your quarterback is by the third game of the season. Is it going to be Xavier Langford? Is it going to be Quincy Casey? Who is your quarterback by at least the second or third game of the season? You should already have that evaluated from the jump. Um, I think from now on for the last two games, it might be Quincy Casey. He's going to be able. I think Quincy Casey is going to be the actual starter for Alabama A&M. Um, everybody know he has a big arm, but his decision making might not be the greatest.
and that's being kind.
And yes, that is being kind. That's being real kind. Your decision is not the greatest. Like, yes, you have a strong arm. You can throw you can swing the ball all day, every day. But
Jay Cutler in NFL had a strong arm, and he was terrible.
but your decision making is not all that great. And I hate to say this, y'all, and I know it might be some Quincy Casey fans out there. Coach Prime probably knew what he saw in Quincy Casey probably after that one game that he played in the spring. For one, Quincy's not durable. He's not a durable player. I went back and watched a lot. I've been watching a lot of old school, HBCU football from spring season, all this past spring season or fall season, all the way back up to like 89, 84, something like that. Shout out to who is that? HBCU. He's on my Alex Hines. So Alex Hines, he does HBCU sports, so he has all the football games that you want to go back and review. Now I watched the game when Quincy was an actual freshman. He took one hit and he was done. He was done. He was done. Hey Ed, with Jalen Jones, Jalen Jones is an athlete playing quarterback. He has the arm. He has a big time arm. And we already know he know how to use his legs. I feel like he needed to take that. He needed to go down to the JUCO ranks to actually learn how to play, to be, you know what I'm saying, to be a quarterback. Like what it takes to be a quarterback. And you see it with his numbers this season. So I mean, it ain't the most eye-popping numbers for Jalen Jones, but it's decent amount of numbers. You know what I'm saying? I think he's about to be over 2,000. You know, he about to eclipse 2,000 yards in the next two games, depending on how many yards he passes for. But get back to Quincy Casey. Like I said, after that spring season, Prime knew. I think Prime already knew what, like, the spring season was an evaluation season for us.
It was a blessing for JSU.
It was
truly a
I mean,
blessing.
in reality, it was the evaluation. I think the spring season for all SWAC teams that actually participated was an evaluation for everybody.
Yeah, but
Like,
JSU really benefited for the simple fact that it was a new coaching staff.
right.
Um, they had a bunch of players, and if they would have practiced in the spring season, had their spring game and their in the summer camp and the fall camp, they would have been stuck with a whole lot of players they probably didn't want. So when they were playing in the games, it got them the best evaluation is game speed, and they seen them in the games and say, well, you know what, this one can't play, that one can't play. So and plus they knew when from there they knew what they needed. They knew what they needed, and it was a great thing. It was a blessing. Uh, and then in practice, you see other those quarterbacks knew that Shador was going to play, not because he
Yeah,
was a coach's son. They just knew his better talent.
he had better talent.
Yeah,
Like,
he was a
if you
four
really
he was
think
a four star. He wasn't a 4-star for nothing.
and you really think about it, Shador is one of those kids. Like, yes, he is a coach's son, but his dad is also an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Is also an ex NFL player. So it's not like he ain't seen. He's not used to this. He ain't seen this. Um, he knew what he was getting himself into. My whole thing about this was when Quincy was at Jackson State. He was not durable. He was injured most of the time. What up, Craig? Craig, my boy from the third ward. He was injured for most of the time, and when he did get his shine, he did shine. But even though it was in a loss because Alabama A&M jumped on us early in the game. But like I said,
Yeah,
when
but we
everybody knew Shador was coming, Shador came to Jackson State early. He got there early. He graduated early. So he could get out there to actually learn, to learn plays, to learn schemes and everything. This dude he's not dumb at all. He's not dumb.
listen.
He
How
was
many
out there.
how many young men get a chance to be under the tutelage and sometimes in getting the tutelage of a Tom Brady, the goat? You know what I mean? He was with what was this Jeff? What was this the quarterback that taught him for years? Played in NFL. Jeff Blake. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Blake taught him for years, and you know what I mean. So he's now, he's seen, he's been, he's done, he's doing. Uh, he's That's why you know what I can see why he's called growth. You know what I mean? It's funny when I watch Coach Prime with his sons, with Shador and with Shiloh. Shador puts in the work. I'm not saying Shiloh doesn't because we don't see it obviously as much because the quarterback is the highlighted position. But it just seemed like Shiloh could work that much harder. That's just the impression that it's put out there.
But yeah, but with Xavier, with Quincy, he's gonna be the starter for the game coming up this weekend against Jackson State. It's the Gulf Coast Classic in Mobile. He's gonna be the starter, so he get to see some of the players that was on the team with him. Now remember, Jackson State pretty much we turned that roster over. Probably about 75-80% of the team is basically new.
From that spring, they got rid of a lot of players.
They got rid of a lot of players. Alabama A&M, like I said, they his numbers got inflated because they was, like you said, I remember you told me this, we was talking about this Thursday. His number was inflated because he was trying to come back from behind. So it nothing to take away from what Valley had done, because Valley put on they game plan. Coach Dancy had a game plan for his kids, and they executed well. And y'all see what happened. They came out with the victory. They came out with the dub. Friday's game, Alcorn Prairie View, Alcorn beating Prairie View in overtime 23-16. Now, I'm not gonna say anything bad about Prairie View because I can't say anything bad about that play where the receiver dropped the ball and that would have basically tied the game. But what I want to talk about was the play calling of Prairie View. Like you, for a team like Alcorn that is still strong on the defensive front, and you're trying to run that somewhat spread veer wing T type offense for yourself, you were not going to get off like that. It was going to be hard for you to get off like that. That's why Conley didn't have 100 yards rushing. He had 142 yards passing. But he also, Alcorn tried to turn him into a passer, in which they did, because he was 13-26 passing the ball. Conley is an athlete playing quarterback. And yes, Sonny Boone, it was a total collapse because you had the lead in the game. There was no way that you as a team was, even think about trying to have this team coming in your house. Remember, you are top in the West Division of the SWAC with a 4-1 record at the time. PV, I'm gonna say it like this: PV just gonna do PV things. PV, when it comes down to it, they tend to wilt towards the end of the season. If you think I'm lying, look at the game last year when they played Valley, when Valley came to Prairie View and mollywopped them on their own field.
Yeah, the quarterback for Prairie View, after he hikes the ball, he looks one receiver, then runs.
And then runs. Like
Then runs.
he's basically like, he's basically
He's a running
like
back.
Jaylen,
He's a running back to throw the ball.
He's basically like Jalen Jones when Jalen Jones was Jackson State. Yeah. Jalen used to do one read, and then if he don't see it, he's running.
Yeah, they missed 2 extra points, I think, in that game too.
Yep, you missed extra points. Miss extra points, miss field goals, that counts a lot, y'all.
Well, when it went to overtime, it's like, everybody, you feel bad for, they say they feel bad for the kid that dropped the ball in overtime. But I always look, why did it even go to overtime? It shouldn't
Why
even
go
went
to overtime? It should
what I mean? Yep. That's a result of you not doing your job in the 4 quarters.
That's also on the play calling of the OC for Prairie View too.
But that was he should have had a play call like that during the 4 quarters, because that was a great play call.
Yep. So now we about to go into the Saturday's games. Got Grambling beating up on Pine Bluff. Okay, everybody know Pine Bluff ain't that good. And then from what I'm hearing, if the interim coach don't get on the coach's call, that's a bad look for you. That's a bad look for your whole program right there.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah, they said they're trying to get in touch with them, and they couldn't. And like I said, you definitely got to have somebody in your PR that's doing your PR to say, listen, somebody's got to get on this call.
So in this game, Grambling had the lead in this game at halftime 7-0. And even though I'm looking at Skylar Perry's numbers, 23 of 40, 228, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I think most of his numbers was inflated because of the fact that he was coming back from behind in the 3rd and the 4th quarter. Um, and this is the tale of two teams. Um, Pine Bluff couldn't move the ball. They couldn't run the ball worth the damn. Uh, they basically uh, they basically uh, uh, bottled up, shut down Kayvon Britton, who is the second or third leading rush. He was the third leading rusher in the conference. Held him to 32 yards on 20 carries. I'm gonna tell you just like this. After 10 carries, I ain't got no but like 20 something, 30 something yards. Stop. Don't hand me the ball out no more. 15, 20 times for 32 yards. Don't hand me the ball no more. Don't hand the ball no more. That play is over and done. Now on the flip side, Calvez, like it, he didn't have the prettiest numbers as far as being a quarterback, as far as passing the ball, but he led the team. You know, he led his team to a victory. And yeah, if they were trying to give it away for a minute, that's understandable. It's Grambling, but then somebody got to light a fire on up under them and say, "Hey, I ain't playing right. We're gonna take that G off your helmet again."
Yeah, but all you got to do is give Washington the ball. The young man, had 10 carries for 201 yards and two tubs. He's
That's the Maurice Washington I was waiting on for right there,
yeah,
y'all.
he's a bad. I remember seeing him play when he played in for Coach Prime. You know, so yeah, he's a really good running back. But I was listening to the game and or was it the coach? Was Coach Jackson saying they're trying to get him up to speed? You know what I mean? So he get more touches. So you know what I mean? His stamina. So I don't. So he was relating to that point. So I don't know because I think he was injured for a little bit after the Jackson game.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, but hey, when you get 200 yards or 10 carries, I think you're pretty fine.
yeah. And I feel like he'll get more in the last two games. So look at Grambling's last two games. They played Texas Southern. They played Southern in the Bayou Classic. Texas Southern, they have a problem with stopping the run. Like I said, they're getting gashed for over 198 yards a game. Teams running the ball on like that. I feel like Grambling could actually do the same thing. And then with Southern, I think Southern's will has got crushed this past weekend. I feel like Southern's just gonna hang. I think they're gonna hang it up. Now, my whole thing is if Southern plays Valley, and Southern lays a goose egg on Valley against Valley, what do you say? What do you say about I'm about to say Vince Dooley, Coach Dooley, Eric Dooley?
The offensive genius.
Uh,
He's
and
still sticking with that
we can
quarterback.
talk. We're gonna talk about. We'll talk about that afterwards too. Next game on the list, you got Alabama State defeating Bethune-Cookman 37-22. Now Alabama State after their last loss, guess who it was against? Jackson State. After they lost the Who is Swag game, like literally they've been on a winning streak.
They've been playing good ball.
They've been playing good ball. And can I
But
still call him a real estate agent?
well, the thing is, but Bethune-Cookman also, they were right in the game. They were up, they were down, they were up, they were down. But then again, they seem like they run out of gas.
Yeah.
And and it's quarterback play again because I was watching that game because it was a really good game. And then all of a sudden, you had a kickoff return for Alabama State. You know what I mean? He ran it back all the way. It's yeah, Bethune Cookman. It's they played good to 3 quarters and they just died.
Um, the only thing about Alabama State I do not like, and it's always, and I feel like Blue says this, Scotty says is the offensive, like the offensive play calling is rudimentary. If you even listen to if you go on Swag Buzz or you listen to look at Blues podcast and you hear Mr. Ford on there and Mr. Ford talk about that offense, like it's like you need an actual OC. And this and like I said, like Mr. Ford said, and I said this also for Alabama State, if you want to have the real Demetrius Davis come out, get the offensive playbook from when he was in high school at North Shore. And I bet you that offense will open wide. It will open wide up, like literally. I'm telling everybody, go watch Demetrius Davis, junior and senior years at North Shore High School in Houston. Even though one of the years he had a 5-star running back and Zach Evans on his side,
that helps.
That helped. That kind of helps. His senior year, he didn't have that. But look at the numbers that he did put up with that team. Basically,
some things translate from high school to college, and some things don't. You know what I mean?
I feel like it might. I mean, I'm just saying because just look at this. He's 5'10". He probably 5'9" on a good day. Okay.
So you almost got to maybe have a style like Kyler Murray has. You know what I mean?
Kyler Murray, in fact, Kyler Murray in the NFL, he's running the same damn offense that he ran in high school.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at the concepts. It's pretty much the same offense he ran at Allen High School. It's the same thing when he got to Texas A&M. It's the same thing when he got to Oklahoma. Somebody went back to where he went to high school at and took some sort of variation to instill into their offensive game plan.
Well, it's like you said, you got to have a good offensive coordinator, and then you got to have. You see, first of all, if you have the horse, you got to have the right jockey to ride the horse. And the thing is, you got to have the right people around you. You got to have the right people around you, right?
And my whole thing is when with Demetrius Davis, you can't make him a pocket passer. He is too short to be a pocket passer. So the reason why he uses his legs, why he's running around, because he's trying to find that throwing lane for his receivers. He's trying to throw his receivers open. Just look at it. Just look at it. Just go back and look at it when he's in high school. He's throwing his receivers open. Even though he can't stay in the pocket and chunk the ball from inside the pocket, he's more deadly on the outside throwing his receivers open.
They're going to use probably more RPOs then.
Yeah, or do more RPOs. But if you're doing more RPOs, like he's not the most I wouldn't say nimble, but he's not the most durable guy on the field.
No, he's not. No, he hasn't been. He's been injured quite often this year. You're right.
So and then you got 3 running backs that's real, that's special. Each one have their own unique thing that they do. So you probably have to, you can incorporate that. Like the offense, the whole thing, like you said, you got to get an offensive play caller. You got to get an offensive coordinator.
Go back to the old wishbone.
you got to get your offensive coordinator that is willing to adjust the playbook for the quarterback that you have, and adjust the playbook for the offensive talent that you have on your team.
But
Now,
here's the deal with State though. They seem like they're building a good defense. Their defense played really well. They're building good. So you know what
oh,
you need? Like you need what every other team needs. You need a quarterback.
you need a
You know what I mean?
quarterback,
You need a quarterback.
but
If you're not going to
think,
if you're
but
not going
remember,
to
he ain't
change the
number,
scheme,
but he's number a freshman. Remember that.
yeah, but if you're not going to change the scheme for him, doesn't matter if he's a freshman or not. Bring somebody in that's going to be better. The bottom
I,
line
I
is the win.
I feel like, to me, I feel like when it comes down to it, Coach Robinson is going to look at another offensive coordinator. You have to. You can't be this stubborn to not change up your offensive play calling for a talent like that.
Yeah, but because he was talented in high school, doesn't you know what I mean? Quincy Casey, he wasn't he a 3 star, 3 or 4 star.
Quincy Casey was a 3-star coming out of high school.
Yeah, and Jalen Jones.
Jalen Jones was a legit 4-star.
Yeah,
That's the reason
you
why
know,
he went to Florida at first.
yeah.
Uh,
So
but I mean, Alabama State is on the winning streak. They are on a three
big
game.
game this week.
They
Big
are a
game.
3-game winning streak. They got FAMU this weekend, so I think that's right there going to be the game of the week right there.
Yeah,
That is the game
big
of the
game.
week. I'm still gonna do the Jackson State thing, everybody. So don't get your panties in a bunch. But the game of the week is FAMU versus Alabama State. This is going to be a great game. This game is in Mobile for this Saturday at 2:00. So I think it's on HBCU Go, if I'm not mistaken. If it is, man, we got to watch that game,
I'll be
because
watching.
now this determines
Okay.
if FAMU can pull this off. This determines they need to take their ass to the playoffs. um, and then FAMU versus Southern. Hey, FAMU comes out with a 30-16 win against Southern. Um, I'm gonna say it just like this. I called in on Scotty's show earlier today. He had his midday show, and I said like this: Bashawn McCray for Southern is a running back playing quarterback.
But Dooley's stubborn. He's not going to switch him.
He
He's
is
just
super stubborn.
you know what I mean?
He
Because
is.
everybody, their own fan base is saying change him. You know what I mean? And obviously, we as fans, and we contribute. You know what I mean? Our opinions and stuff like that. Yes, they're the ones coaching. They have more knowledge than me as far as football and stuff like that. But when is the obvious not the obvious?
Don't know yet, but McCray ain't the one. And I wouldn't say who they use at quarterback, but it was another insight that I learned, that I heard from Scotty today. And sure, you can uh, 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 agree with me or disagree with me if I'm wrong or not. But Southern, when it comes to Dooley and the QBs that he has, right? I felt like when he was the offensive coordinator at Grambling, and Grambling had Devontae Kincaid, I feel like I think Dooley got his chops off when he had Kincaid, when he had Switchblade on the team at Grambling. Now, I've seen Devontae play in high school. Devontae is one of those quarterbacks. He's cerebral. Like, he's not that big as far as weight wise. He is 6'6", like 6'1". He's like a 185, 190. He's shifty. He has quick feet, but he had the mental to where he knew like, okay, this play ain't gonna go nowhere. I'm gonna throw the ball away, or this play ain't gonna go, or this receiver is covered. What else? You know what I'm saying? What other progressions do I have? When he was in high school, Devontae only threw 2 interceptions in high school his senior year. Like, he only threw 2 interceptions. And he led his team to the region semis. So, like, what they say about him, he's smart. He's smart. He's smart with the ball. He knew how to manipulate the play
pocket.
call. He knew how to manipulate the pocket. When he was at Ole Miss, you seen some shine from him because he did a little bit of things, but Ole Miss wasn't gonna go that. They weren't gonna go that route. They wasn't gonna go that route with him. So he ended up going to Grambling. And guess who was the offensive coordinator at Grambling? Eric Dooley. Also, if you look at it, when Dooley had got Juwan Pass, I'm gonna tell you where it was crazy, because when he had Juwan Pass is a thrower of the ball, but he's an athlete, like 6'4", 230, rocket arm, can run, have a long stride. He had that, that Vince Young stride when it came to running the football. Like last season, the problem with Juwan Pass when he was at Prairie View and Coach Dooley was the head coach was the fact that Juwan couldn't hit nothing short.
No.
He could chunk the ball all over the field deep, but when it came to short, intermediate, and checkdowns, he did not look good. But also that is indicative of the fact that you supposed to be the quarterback the quarterback whisperer. You're supposed to fix his mechanics.
Yeah, you gotta have touch.
You gotta have a touch. Like he had no touch at all. Like you're the play caller, you're the head coach, de-facto play caller, offensive play caller. When it comes down to it, you're supposed to teach him how to work his mechanics. Learn how to maneuver, like manipulate a defensive back or a linebacker and to throw to an open space for your receivers or your running backs. He didn't do that last season.
Yeah, this is when you need a good quarterback coach too. You know what I mean? You need a quarterback coach to work with, and like you said, to work on your mechanics, learn to manipulate your eyes. You know what I mean? To read one way, move the safety over with your eyes, so you hit the other, hit it and come back across the other way, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if Willie was at Prairie View at the time. I don't know if he was there at the time. I'm gonna check and see, but I know he let me check and see. I'm gonna see where Shotgun Willie was at. Okay, so he wasn't there, but Coach Frazier was the head coach over at Prairie View at the time when he had KJ Black. And pretty much KJ Black was almost like the same, was like not as far as with when it came down to the physicality with the physical features, but with the mental, like he was more like Devontae Kincaid at the time too. Like he had touched on the ball, he can run the ball, he can run when it's time for, if he didn't see anything open, he went through all his progressions. His quarterback, his passing efficiency was through the roof the year that Prairie View won the SWAC championship in 2009. Like that's something that he would like if Coach Black, if KJ Black was still in coaching right now in the SWAC, he would have took Bashawn McCray and try to make him into a quarterback. You do not see that from you do not see that from Dooley with McCray. You didn't see that you didn't see that last year with KJ. I mean, not KJ Black, with Juwan Pass. You really didn't see that when he had Jalen Morton either. Jalen Morton was a damn good quarterback for Prairie View when Dooley was there, but you didn't see him try to progress him. And I felt like in certain cases, Jalen wanted to be, he wanted to be an actual quarterback.
So are you saying Dooley's overrated as a offensive coordinator?
Dooley's overrated as offense coordinator.
Okay, put that out there.
Yeah, he was pill tossing at Louisville, Sean, but you could pill toss, but hey, QB completion rates percentages are up at least 60, like between 65 to 70, probably like 71, 72%. And he was only completing like 57, 58%.
But something feel like I'm certain as I'm watching more and more football and trying to break down certain things is when a quarterback, like just talking about quarterback play. So the guy throws a lot, but it's always the importance of the game. Does he make those throws when it's time to make that throw? Does he make that 3rd and 5 to move the chains? Or if, a lot of times, a lot of quarterbacks, especially it's more throwing game now in all leagues now, more passing game. Does he? A lot of teams will throw off the like air raids. We see that, but then a lot of times, sometimes we get fooled by quarterback statistics because their team is so bad that they're falling behind right away, so they got to throw it every down.
True.
So I like to see the quarterback. It's like perfect example. I'm not comparing the GOAT Tom Brady to any of these young men at all. You know what I mean? But example, didn't have a great game, but he made the throws when he counted at the end, and that's what I like. Shador does very well at. That's why they call him grown. He makes
Right.
the right throws, the right plays when it's needed.
Now, let's get on FAMU. All right. FAMU, okay. My whole thing about FAMU is I want y'all to run the ball. You have to run the ball. Take that pressure off of Musa. But also,
They got
Musa
no
don't trust
offensive
nobody.
line though.
Yeah, offensive line. Musa don't trust nobody else but Xavier Smith.
Maybe he don't have
At least
time to trust anybody else.
no, he don't trust nobody else but Xavier Smith. Like you got you got John Murray Sheree, you got David Manigault, you got Oxendine. Like you got some receivers and some tight ends that you can actually throw the ball to, and they can actually catch it. And this is who FAMU reminds me of when it comes to the quarterback receiver connection. They remind me of Stephen F. Austin. And y'all just hear me say, hear me out on this. Stephen F. Austin, their quarterback, Trey Self, all right. The receiver, Xavier Gibson. Xavier had, I think he had last season, he had 1,400 yards receiving. And it was like no other receiver had probably like 350 yards. Kind of see where I'm going to right there.
Yeah, but
Like,
that's just if a quarterback trusts a receiver, and they unfortunately seem like they don't have confidence in other receivers. That could be an indicator. Sometimes when he threw a ball, drop passes, this or not getting open, not separation. So it could be. So when you got a guy that you trust, you're gonna look for him all the time. You know what I mean? He's your glue guy.
yeah, but when it comes down to it, though, man, like if your glue guy can't get the job done, you got
Then
other.
you're in
You know what I'm
trouble.
saying?
Then you're in trouble.
He's in trouble. That's my whole thing. What I'm saying, he doesn't have anybody. He feels like this guy gonna get open because I know he gonna when he get open, he gonna take the top off. He gonna do what he do. All right. But but just looking at it like you can't. Like I'm just looking at Xavier Gibson's uh um stats from last season. He was 74 receptions, 1,367 yards, 14 touchdowns, 18.5 yards per average per catch. Like he trusted him, nobody else. And you can't, to me, you can't live and die with just the one receiver. Because my whole thing is when it comes down to the playoffs, if you're trying to get it to the playoffs, you're gonna need everybody on your squad.
Oh yeah, a good team's going to take away
They're
your
gonna
number one
take away the
option.
best receiver. They're gonna take
Yeah,
away your best option. Now they take away the best option. Who you gonna throw to?
yeah,
Because in your
yeah.
mind, you feel like you can't trust them,
The
or they're
thing
not
is,
gonna do the same thing that X-Men is gonna do.
yeah. Well, Xavier Smith, like last game, he had 6 receptions for 100 yards, but I don't see here how many attempts, how many throws that he's got. You know what I mean?
Right.
Was directed at him. See, that's a stat that I don't have here. But the thing is, you're 100% right. Is he has to utilize spread it out. But the thing is, uh, your offensive line. You know what I mean? So basically, he's doing a quick read. Because I watched Musa, I watched a couple of games, and he does scan the field pretty well. But he just, like you said, he gets fixated on Smith, and he wants to hit him all the time. It's just like in the NFL with LA Rams. All Stafford sees is Cooper Cup. You know what I mean? He's got Allen
Yep. Yep.
Robinson,
Yep.
but all he sees is Cooper
It,
Cup.
no, but go okay. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to that right there. Let's go back to just you brought up a good example. Matthew Stafford. How about when he was in Detroit?
Calvin
All he
Johnson.
knew was Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
That's all he knew was Calvin Johnson because he knew all he had to do was just throw the ball up there and Megatron was gonna go get it.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, think about this. Jackson State pretty much eliminated everybody in the on the receiving core for FAMU. And even X-Men. X-Men had 4 receptions for 26 yards that game. His longest catch was 11 yards. Jackson State, if you think about it, Jackson State eliminated all options for Musa. And then when they eliminate all options for Musa, they dared them to run the ball. They wanted them to run the ball on them. And they eliminated that too. Yeah,
But
Steph
that,
had Odell too, but what I'm saying is like this season, like he has number Cooper, he's has nothing but Cooper Cup. So that's the reason why I actually went back to when he was in Detroit, when all he had was Megatron.
but
That's
that's also too with the play calling too. You know what I mean? if the offensive coordinator is designing plays to get him the ball because he's your best player, because they do jet sweeps with him, they do receiver screens with him, so there's all kinds of way that they're trying to get him the ball because he's your best player. But what happens is you have other receivers that are just being left out. And then after it was a play the other day, Rams were saying when a tight end dropped the easy pass. So all of a sudden, the quarterback says, "Up, drop the easy one." But that's what happens. It's unfortunate.
And I'll say it like this: when Rashawn McKay was quarterback last season, yes, he's a game manager. We joked about that all year last year. He is a game manager, but at least when he played, he targeted multiple receivers is besides Xavier.
Yeah, but he did.
And also
Obviously, Willie Simmons see more in Musa than he did in McRae, right?
right. Also, he didn't turn the ball over a lot. He only had 5 interceptions. He was only sacked 13 times because he knew how to throw the ball away. Musa don't know how to do that. Musa is one of those dudes that he's just gonna sling the ball down the field and that's it. And whoever catches it, that you know what I'm saying. Whoever catches it, if X-Man is gonna catch it, that's all I need to worry about. That's all I need to worry about. What's up, HBCU man talk? But my whole thing is hopefully in the off season, whenever if they go to the playoffs or if they don't go to the playoffs in all season, they can beef up their offensive line and they can get they can get an actual quarterback that can trust his other receivers. Because X-Man is gone after this season. He's gone.
Yeah.
He's a senior, so he's gone. So that's the thing about that. Who is going to be the quarterback? Who will they get for quarterback? Also the vanilla ass play calling, the defensive play calling for FAMUs to go away. Hopefully they can find them another defensive coordinator that actually wants to blitz. And last but not least, Jackson State versus Texas Southern. We already know what happened last on Saturday. Seven Young goes for 200 over 200 yards. I think he had 3 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns on the ground.
No, one on the ground, one in the air.
No, he didn't get one in the air. He just got.
Oh, that was the week before. That was the week before.
Yeah, that was the week before.
Yeah.
We already know. Shadur, 23 or 30. 252, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
One running.
And 1 running. So he had 4 touchdowns in total. Shane Hooks is looking like a good possession receiver.
Until he runs backwards on the catch. I hate when he catches the
ball. That's something that you hate right there. But it was 7 of 76 with 2 touchdowns. That was good. That DJ Stevens, 3 receptions for 56 yards and 1 touchdown. Like the fact that we use more tight ends right now.
Hunt got a couple of catches. We had a Quay Davis sighting. We had a Weinman sighting. We had a couple guys played that the run. What was the running back that played? I see him on the film all the time, like you know what I mean, on their clips, and he got a couple yards too, young man. He was like he's like the 4th running back.
So
because Martin didn't get in the game.
Martin didn't get in the game. Martin, I don't know if Martin's hurt or not. Santee got in the game. But other than that, man, look, it's a strong showing. They did shut down. They shut down Andrew Body. They shut down they pretty much almost shut down the whole running game for Texas Southern, even though they gave up as a team 100 yards as a team.
But Texas Southern ran well last year on them. They got some good running backs. So, we got to give credit where credit is due. They do got some good running backs, and they're, you know what, they're a good young team. If they recruit better, they could be a team to be reckoning with in the West next year for sure.
Yeah. So, like I said, Jackson State plays Alabama A&M Saturday. I think Saturday evening. 6 o'clock game. Oh, not 6 o'clock. 4 o'clock game. On ESPN Plus down in Mobile, Alabama. Um, should be a good game. We'll probably come back tomorrow, talk about the some more of the coaches call, especially from Coach Maynard. And
The kid was Allen. The guy was Allen that was talking about the running back Allen.
yeah,
He had a carry. Yeah.
yeah, from talk about Coach Maynard, talk about trying to figure out some other stuff we talk about, man. I want to talk about get with see the call with Coach Bubba McDowell from this past weekend, what he had to say about that, and then also kind of go into what we was talking about earlier tonight with the bowl situations and all the stuff like that for tomorrow.
And we also,
Make,
we also maybe just take a look ahead and just planting seeds on the MEAC potential um, representative for the
yeah, we
celebration
talk
bowl.
about the representative for the Celebration Bowl. We shout out to the JSU ladies soccer team.
And
Uh,
Wilkerson got an award for offensive player of the week. I think
oh,
he
okay.
was mentioned, honorable
Hopefully
mention.
so. He probably could.
No, I think I had it here,
You had it
and
here.
I threw a
Jackson
couple
State
players.
is number 5 in the nation still. So the new number they're still that's in the FCS coaches poll. In the other poll, they are still number 9, which still sucks. But I worry about the coaches poll because that's the one that kind of I kind of follow. So it's still South Dakota State still number 1 at 9-1. Number 2 in the coaches poll is Sacramento State at 9-0 because they did beat Weber State this past weekend. Number 3 is Montana State. Number 4 is North Dakota State. Number 5 is Jackson State. 6, Holy Cross. Number 7 is Incarnate Word. 8, William and Mary. 9, Sanford. 10, Weber State. And then you go back down. You go down there, Mercer, Chattanooga, Richmond, Montana, Delaware, Furman, Princeton, and rounding up 25 is New Hampshire. They did take a loss this past weekend against Richmond. So I don't know, because like Blue said, it's gonna be kind of hard for FAMU to probably get that at large bid where you got a couple of teams that's been they've been streaking, but they also been playing good dominant football. But anyway, you got anything planned?
No, just one more week off from work. I got to go back to work next Monday.
Okay. Everybody, y'all know what tomorrow is. Tomorrow is Super Tuesday.
Get out there and vote.
Go out there and vote.
Vote. And
Go
bring
out there
somebody
and
with
vote.
you.
Bring somebody with you. Go out there and vote. Bring somebody with you. So make sure y'all do your due diligence
And read the ballots.
Yep. What up, MEAC Mike? I'm about to shut it down. But go out there, y'all make sure y'all read the ballots, know what you want as far as what you want your candidate to do for you and for your community. Like I said, don't matter if you Democrat, Republican, Independent, no, whatever your party affiliation is, it don't matter. As long as you go out there and vote, because like I said, if you don't go out there and vote, your opinion does not matter to me.
Yeah, don't be a barbershop politician. Say you want this and you want that, and you didn't go out and vote.
Yep. So y'all make sure y'all vote tomorrow. All right. But
All right.
anyway, in the meantime, between time, catch us tomorrow. 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
All right, 8 o'clock.
Um, might do something with the elections and everything, but you never know.
You never know. Breaking news.
Breaking news. So, in the meantime, between time, that's my guy Brian. I'm your boy Doc Holiday. This is HBCU football review show. I like that sound, but y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay dangerous. Peace.